All right, guys, we are back. I know it's been a minute, um, but I guess it's time to explain why I've been gone for so long. Um, for starters, I got injured, and I was out of the gym due to this injury um, because I was in a place like the injury itself was in a place I really couldn't lift with. If I did any like sort of core bracing, I was going to injure myself further, and it would have not been a good idea to do that. So I took the days that the doctors told me to take off, and then part two of that is after I healed up and was ready to go, I tried to get back into content making. I made a couple videos, recorded a couple lifts, but it was getting really difficult for me to like balance getting everything back on track again. So I decided to put all my effort into lifting and getting in the gym again, because to be completely honest, was having a hard time doing all of that stuff. And at the same time, part three of that was mentally, I hit a new low that I haven't really hit in a while. I was not feeling the greatest. I was feeling quite depressed, and I was just trying to, fight my way out of it the best I could. And lifting helped, but it wasn't enough. And what really needed to happen was for me to take as much stress off of my plate as I could, while maintaining like the good habits that help me out. So that included like getting the diet back on track and getting everything that I was doing routine wise with lifting on track, and getting more confident in my ability to be, the person I need to be in order to achieve what I'm trying to achieve here. I know that sounds like super vague and cliche and niche, but basically what I'm saying is like I was in a good spot, and just trying to thug it out was only somewhat working, but it wasn't good enough. And so I had to really step back, reevaluate like how I can get back on track, make a plan and execute it. And that's pretty much what I did. Is I spent the last few lifts trying to just focus on the muscle building aspect of everything and getting back on track, and then thinking about how when I came back to content, we were gonna run the content and everything like that. And honestly, I can see why Sam Solik kind of does it this way, because it's super simple and easy, but I want to add more edits and stuff into my mixes just because I like to edit and like to show the little workout montages and everything. But with that being said, with all the things going on, I did lose quite a bit of weight. I am down currently like 4-5 pounds of lean mass, and thankfully a lot of that's not muscle. Some of it's fat, and then some of it's muscle, a small portion of it's muscle, and a lot of it's water weight. And so now that we're getting our diet back on track, we should see that weight bump up pretty quickly again and start getting me closer to the 150s. But right now we're sitting at a solid 142 to 145, depending on what I eat for the day. And so another thing I need to kind of dial in is my cooking and my food. But that shouldn't take too long for me to get back on track. I literally just go to the store today, buy me some chicken, and cook it up and eat it. Now the programming switched up a little bit. Instead of doing my like push-pull legs, like my chest day, my back day with some bicep and tricep and a little bit of shoulders on the push day, and my leg day, then a shoulder and arm day and repeat. I am coming off of that 4-day split because I want to get twice a week frequency for all the muscles. I want to really push the agenda on that twice a week frequency. So we're doing something like an Arnold split with a rest day in between, and we're giving a leg day in between the shoulder, arm, and chest and back workout, just because it allows for the arms and everything to rest a little bit before we get into our pushing movements for chest and our pulling movements for back. Personally, I'm under the belief that you don't get enough stimulus from pulling and pushing alone to require a full rest day for them. But I don't want to take any chances in regards to recovery. I want it to be on point. And then another thing with that is, I know chest and back are a hard thing to train together since they're both big muscles in terms of fatigue and stuff. But in terms of fatigue for that, I've lowered the amount of chest work I do on those days so that I could focus on my back a lot more. Which is important because my back is a weak point. My chest seems to not be a weak point for me on my physique, although it could very quickly become a weak point if my shoulders keep growing the way they are growing, which is, it used to be a weak point, and I treat it as such right now, where they get their own day with the arms as well. But until my arms and my shoulders become something that I'm like proud to maintain and build up slowly again and focus on just my back or my chest or something, we're gonna keep hitting them on a separate day. Everybody has different weak points, so the split you use, almost any split will work for growing muscle, but the split you use for bodybuilding specific training will determine what weak points you bring up quicker, what muscle groups you bring up quicker, and what muscle groups you just let grow a little bit slower. And so with the goal of doing this as sort of a lifelong activity of mine, we're gonna focus on getting the arms and my shoulders as big as possible, and my back for like big muscle groups. Now obviously legs are getting hit twice a week because my legs are probably the weakest point on my body right now, legs and arms. But with the growth I've had on my biceps, I am proud to say my arms shouldn't be a weak point much longer than the legs will be. So it's gonna be quite a while. Maybe even the next time I do a bodybuilding show, we'll have the legs I desire. But as of right now, man, that was a loud truck. As of right now, I don't have like any goals for the other muscle groups that isn't legs and arms. And we kind of drifted away from the compound movers just to focus on more isolation work, something with better stability, something with better focus on the muscle I'm trying to target, because I'm doing squats, and don't get me wrong, I love squats. I plan on doing some powerlifting in the future after I get this first show done. But till then, I'm benching the bench, and I'm benching the squat, and I am benching the deadlift, but not the straight-legged deadlift, just the regular conventional deadlift. Until then, we're going to focus on things like pendulum squat or hack squat, and I think I might stick to the pendulum squat for now because it's been doing good. I really feel it in my quads when I finish a set. I'm just going to experiment around with some form stuff till I like the form that is sticky, and then I'll think about maybe going back to a hack squat or not if I want to do a hack squat. And leg extension is going to be a part of every single leg day. Leg press will not be, but leg extension will in fact be a part of every single leg day. That is my favorite quad exercise, and I just bought a seat belt for those specifically, so no matter what gym I go to, I can wrap the seat belt underneath the seat and strap myself in so I don't have to worry about pulling the handles, man. I saw that and it looks pretty sick, it looks pretty stable, so I'm excited to see what would happen when I use it, if it's going to help me grow my quads a lot better. I think it'll help out quite a bit in terms of the enjoyment factor for training legs on quad day, but also other exercises. It's nice to just have a seatbelt to strap in with, which is what I'm going to be using on triceps today. So without further ado, we have arrived at Gold's Gym and it's gonna be time for me to get the work in. And I'm glad to be back. Honestly, I missed making content because I do enjoy it. I think if I had to rate between like how much I like lifting and how much I like making content, I'd say lifting is just a little bit higher than making content, because I've been doing YouTube videos for a while now. Just haven't posted them because I was much younger and I was in school, and like in college I made some videos for college classes and stuff. And so content is something I've always wanted to do. I never thought if it was going to be based around video games or if it was going to be based around lifting, and whoop-de-doo, we find ourselves doing it about lifting these days. So I'll catch you guys inside. All right. Oh, we're starting every shoulder and arm day the same with some machine lateral raises. I love this machine. The way I'm going to do this is with some straps on so I can hold like a D handle. I'm going to put this little device on my forearm. I've talked about this before in my other videos, but it just helps really get good concentration on the shoulder. And I'm just going straight out to the side, man. Everything should be right in that delt here. One thing I learned today is not too much. I want to specify that, but you should feel it a little bit in your trap if you're doing any sort of side delt exercise. Ever so slight, just because the side or the traps are really good shoulder flexor at the top there, and they're really good for contracting the shoulder. So I ain't gonna lie, I don't rest in between my arms when it comes to warm-up sets like this one, just because there's no need to. If you're resting in between sets on a warm-up, then you should probably lighten your warm-up weight, because it's not really like a warm-up weight, it's more of a working set. This is just something that's going to get my shoulders nice and filled with a little bit of blood, get them nice and physically warm, like warm to the touch. Not as warm as like if we did like a set, because that would be a pump. But your warm-up weight shouldn't give you a pump unless you did like 50, 60 reps of it. And because of that, you should be able to easily just drop this weight down. Ooh, that's oiled up, all right. Oiling up the bros when we talk about that. We talking about this machine here. It's pretty oily. As I was saying, you don't have to. Jeez, they put like Vaseline or some shit in there. Oh, my bad. They put like crazy oil stuff on that. Anyways, I was saying, it should be super easy to warm up. Like I should be talking to you guys right now during my warm-up sets, whereas my working sets, no, that should not be possible. If I'm talking to you during my working sets, I need to be working a little bit harder, either more reps or I need to be adding weight to the bar. 5, 6. So the rep range for this is supposed to be 8 to 12. And that should be just ideal for stimulating my shoulders. You can go lower. You can do 6 reps if you'd like. And you'll still get a pretty good stimulus. It's all preference. But I'll tell you right now, doing them in the 8 to 12 rep range for me, it just lets me focus on going through the form properly. And when I need to push, I can really push hard mentally, which is 9 times out of 10 gonna increase the quality of your set and increase the stimulus. I think that's more important than like the actual exercise selection you use most of the time, just because pushing hard is going to be your general difference between growing and not growing in the gym, especially after your first few years of lifting. That's like the common denominator between those who plateau and stay the same, those who different, is how hard they push in here.
All right, we're gonna get the triceps nice and warm for some Vulcan Grip tricep extensions here. So I like to get nice and low on this Vulcan Grip here, and then just straight down, and a little bit pinky out. But this really hits them solid. Now, if you really want to target those triceps, one thing you're going to want to do is pin that long head right to your lat or to the side of your rib cage, and that makes a big difference in whether or not you're going to target them a lot better. Let's go up to 40 for some solids for a solid set of 6, just to warm them up. So here, I like to sit nice and low. You just come here like that. I bring it up to my pecs. And go straight down. Just like that. Solid set of tricep extensions, really targeting some long head and some short head there. But now we're gonna get into our working sets. All right, we moved on to barbell curls. I'm warming up with a 40. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about like optimal bicep training, and this exercise not being a part of that conversation, but truthfully, you're gonna get a good stimulus, man, whether you use this exercise or you don't. As long as you're doing a curling variation, you're doing it with strict technique, you're not using your hips, you're gonna get stimulus to grow the biceps. And barbell for me is just the easiest one to do, and it just hits them super well. Like I could keep my elbows by my side and I can just curl it up. Makes everything super easy for me. All right. Now that we feel less like removing what we ate for lunch, we can get back into the set here. Barbell curls. Second warm-up set. We're using the 60-pounder. We're going for it. So guys, remember, don't push brakes for too long, because it'll jack you up when you come back. You just won't feel the same, and you'll feel a little jacked up, and it'll take longer for you to get back into the groove of things. But if you don't take them, just do deloads, you'll be all right. All right, good news. We've moved up to 90. That pump cover needed to come off because I was getting killed, just dying. So, going in for this set, and it's going to be another set of barbell curls with the 90s this time. Let's see how it goes. All right, guys. So we're gonna check the arm pump for today. This is us coming back after a break. Yeah, I'd say that the bicep pump is pretty darn good. Like it did a pretty good job. Tricep here, that's growing pretty decently well, along with the rear delt up top. Side chest, just to show off the arm here a little bit. And tricep there, rear delt, shoulders coming in nice. Yeah, I like this. This is pretty good. Honestly, I think we're making some solid progress here, despite our little, hiccup in the road that we had going on. I like it. We're looking like we're growing quite a bit, so I'll take that, honestly. If that's what we're talking about for our growth today, that's solid work. Yeah, so we're back at it. I'm going to be editing, trying to upload every day. I'll be ahead of schedule, so my rest days might not have a video coming after that, but prior to that, you'll have something. So hopefully, for example, this video that I'm recording now is done on a Tuesday. I'll edit it on Wednesday, upload it Wednesday. And then the workout for that day, I'll film on that day after editing this and uploading it. And then I'll be ahead of the game. So when I get to my rest day after chest and arms, you'll still have the chest and chest and back. You'll still have the chest and back workout to watch on my rest day. And then because nothing got filmed that day, I'll film again and then it'll go forward. So you'll have a day off in between. But we're just going to be consistent with it and see what we can do. And then I'll give you guys some full days of eating and stuff like that too, so you can see what I got going on. But in the meantime, we're just growing still. My weight is lower, but that means I get a little bit leaner. You can see some feathering here, some grains, a little bit of grains there. The good news is we're not too much more lean, so we're on our way up back to where we started. Anyways, you guys have a great one. I'll see you guys for leg day tomorrow. All right.